Welcome to the Magnetic Leadership Podcast by educator Dave Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. And Neil Roth, it was 4 years ago, pretty much this month, that I first heard of you. And interestingly, this is my all-time very favorite product I've ever used, just for personal benefit, Cell Defender. And interestingly, I've been using it for 6 years. And this is actually the fourth brand that I've used of the same product. And what a circuitous journey, but it's been wonderful. And so much of that is because of you. And so finally, we've got somebody very capable in the driver's seat. And I think that's an important thing. So if you don't know, this is something that's been around 20 years. Millions of bottles have been sold. And Rick, perhaps the most brilliant biochemist in the world as far as creating things that really change people in a wonderful way. You can have the most wonderful product, but if you can't get it to the marketplace reliably, thank you, Neil. Trust is a big thing in all aspects. When you say trustworthy, you think, is this person going to take something that he shouldn't or whatever? But I think one of the most trustworthy things is, I think in my mind, I totally think my wife is trustworthy. But if I had say I needed brain surgery, I wouldn't trust her to be my surgeon. She's not trained in that. And your background, you're just eminently trustworthy in all the areas that you would think of trust to be the captain of the ship, and just so excited about that. In fact, maybe to kick this off, there's probably some people that just don't know who you are. So give us a little bit about your background that brought you up to this point where you're the captain of the great Avini Health ship.
I'll try to keep it as short as possible, but it's been a long time. It's been a lot of years. I was fortunate when I went back in the early 70s. It was interesting because I was studying math and nuclear physics but while I was doing it, I had to put myself through school. In those days, we didn't get big loans. We paid our way through school. And so I got involved in the supermarket business. I just went to work for a local supermarket, and just like everybody else, I started at the bottom. My first job was in the produce department, wrapping lettuce and bagging 10 pounds of potatoes. They didn't come in that way. We had to do it ourselves each time. So I worked my way up in that business, and I found I just loved the consumer goods business, retail business, talking to people, putting things on the shelf, learning about products. It just sort of hit me in the gut. So it was like, this is what I really need to do. And I was a pretty aggressive guy in terms of ambition and stuff like that. So I moved up pretty quickly. I was literally, how old? I was 19 when I started. By the time I was 21, I had moved over to a company called Rite Aid. Many of you may have heard of it. Again, it was a growing business. We got mosquitoes here, which I never have in Vegas. I don't quite understand it. But anyway, so sorry for the clap, but it was to kill one. So I basically got involved in it because I realized that working hard is great, working hard in a growth environment. And I just saw this new, at that time, drugstore business was an amazing business. It was going to grow. They had less than 200 stores at the time. I think today they have over 6,000 stores or something. But so I got involved with them, and because of the growth of the business, and I was a pretty bright guy, and they made a mistake and gave us tests to see how smart we were, and I was good at tests. So I kept moving up. I kept doing a good job. I kept saying yes. Why not? I moved all over the place. I did what I had to do to grow. And I grew in that company pretty rapidly. And I became a buyer after like 2 years and moved around. And long story short, I moved to a company called Eckers in Florida, was there for 5 years, and ended up, by the time I was just about, I think 2 weeks before my 31st birthday, I became president of a $100 million company. Excuse me, I shouldn't exaggerate. $100 million company in upstate New York called Carl's Drugs. And it was quite the experience learning and getting that far. And one of the things is a can-do attitude. I just said, listen, other people do it. I got to be able to figure out, I'll do it. So give me a job and I'll get it done. And because of that, I've done everything, like I say, from wrapping potatoes to putting the key in the door to learning the finances. I was involved in computers starting in 1972, 73, in that area there, with a System 1 at Rite Aid, which was probably about the size of my house and as powerful, not as powerful as my watch. So I have a lot of computer experience. I've had business experience, obviously a lot of logistical experience in warehousing and manufacturing and designing and marketing and things like that. So it's really worked that way. And I kept doing that until I ended up on the West Coast in the early 90s. I was the executive vice president, the GMM of a company called Thrifty Drugs, which was sold to Payless out of the Northwest, which immediately sold to Rite Aid. And that's when I realized that's full circle. And I'm not going to do that anymore. And that's when Claire and I got married, and she had 3 kids from her first marriage. I had a couple, and we decided to have Evan, who was getting married June 15th. So that's how long that's been. And we moved to Las Vegas. And because we realized we wanted to have the kind of life that we could raise our kids in a nice big house and afford it and do something different. And that's when I found this amazing, amazing, amazing business called network marketing. And there's a number of things that I've learned since then that really makes me understand what network marketing really is. So number one is the products that they had were just incredible. They were good, unusual products that nobody else had, that had instant gratification orientation to it, as well as long-term health. They had a good compensation plan, though in those days, a good compensation plan started with laying out $4,000 to get involved. But it's a little different today. And the third thing they had is they had a great management team. They had a group of people who understood how to manage a business. And if you don't have all those things in place, those 3 things in place, you have a problem. Obviously, compensation plan, training, and all that stuff. In those days, it was a lot different. We used cassette tapes, and we didn't have Zoom, so we did a lot of traveling, and drove. And all the leaders were always around doing meetings, and that's the way we did it. But it was great. It was just an incredible experience. What I liked about the business is that there was no ceiling. The only ceiling was how hard I wanted to work, how much effort I wanted to put in, and how much I wanted to learn. So I was in that for about 10 years in that company, made it to triple diamond, which was the second highest level, because then they had a black diamond, which I didn't get to, because they sold the company. Great management, but they were time to sell it. They sold it to a company who didn't have good management, decided to put it together with another network marketing company and blew the whole thing up. It's still around, but it's never been the same ever since. So at that point, Rick and I had known each other for about 6 or 7 years, because I met him through that company. He was the science officer for that company. We became fast friends, started doing different businesses together. And that's when I got involved with him with what is now Cell Defender. And that went into the first company. And in that company, we put it in there. And then I was like the number 2 guy, the master distributor, and then myself. But the owner of that company was onerous. I guess that's where the word comes from. And I just sold my distributorship after about 6 months. I could not stand being around this person. You have to have the ability to say this is right and build in the right environment. And left the network marketing industry for a few years and started a asset-based business, which don't ever do, because all you do is look for money for the rest of your life. That's it. We were building electric ATVs and UTVs. It was an incredibly intense cash invasive business. So did that. 2010, I got a friend of mine who was in the other business with me. He said, go take a look at this for me, please. And they had supported us, so I went and looked at it. And I met a guy named Kyle Helm. I don't know, a lot of you have met Kyle Helm. And I went to a meeting and he was doing it. And I'm going like, man, I just love this business. I think we're going to do it again. And we did. We joined up. And we did real well for a year and a half, 2 years. Went on trips, Dominican Republic, all over the place. Grew, and then the owner decided to screw up. I'm not even going to say what he did, because it's not even, you'd have to have a PG-13 rating to tell me to say what he did. Anyway, so we left there and we went to another company, as a lot of guys do, and we made that one successful for about a year and a half. And then it was so successful, the guy sold it, and that was it, blew that one up. So once again, I left network marketing. 2018, I hope I'm not taking too much time here, but I'm trying to tell you my whole life. And
I love it all. Keep it going.
And then in 2018, I sold that business finally and spent a year working with the people we sold the business to, because that's what happens. And in 2019, Kyle popped up again. He said, hey, friend of ours, a guy we knew who was actually the leader who helped us go through the other ones, is starting this company, and he wants to be a detox company. And he sent me the sample, and I said, yeah, that's not going to work. So that's when I talked to Rick, and we decided to start up again. Rick's a whole different story where this product has gone, but at that point he was not making it. So we bought equipment and decided to start making it ourselves and sold it to that company. That's where I met Dave, and it was under a different name, and it was going really well until that guy decided to get arrested by the FBI for fraud and embezzlement. That was really exciting. Blew that up, and then we tried another company for 6 months. Yeah, that wasn't good either. And that's when Dave and a bunch of people locked me and Rick in a room and said, "You're not coming out until you start a company." So basically, that's where we're at today. And so here's the deal. So Rick and I looked at it, and truthfully, neither of us really were wanted to do a company. I was pretty much retired at the time, just doing network marketing, enjoying my life, seeing my kids and beginning to have grandkids and stuff like that. When Rick had a pretty good business going, but we decided that, look, we got incredible products. There's literally a shelf of products that we knew we could build that makes sense to people's lives, that's life enhancing, life changing products, life saving products, whatever word you want to put on the end of life, you could probably put it with our products. My background as a businessman does give me the ability to start it, but this was after running multi-billion-dollar companies. This was not a big push for me to figure out how to do this. I had made many acquaintances over the years who helped us do this. We understand how to get it done. But we also realized there's a couple of things we needed to put in place. One of them was a good compensation plan. And having been involved in the network marketing business for a long, long time, I realized that we can put together a good plan. So one of the biggest things that we decided, Doug and Rick and a couple other people and I who were working on it, was that we wanted not to have any ahas in the compensation plan. The one thing that always irked me when I was in network marketing is I really never knew what my check was going to be until it got there. You know what I mean? I couldn't figure it. It was just too cumbersome to figure out. I remember when I was at that first company, it was Rexel, Showcase International. I was a triple diamond doing really nice volume. And some months I'd make 17,000, some months I make 9,000, some months I make 22,000, some months I make 8,000. It was just unbelievable to try to figure it out. You couldn't even figure it out. It was just beyond belief. So we wanted to have something that made sense. We wanted to have something that made sense that people would have to work cooperatively. So while binary was totally out of the question for us, we decided to go with the trinary because the unilevel, the problem with unilevel is that anytime somebody got a good one, they put them on their front line because you only went down 7 or 8 or 9 levels. So we wanted to go forever. And so we ended up with the trinary that said that, okay, go find good people. And when you find good people, and if you've already built some groups, all you can do is help somebody else. What a cool idea. All right. So this is really a cooperative kind of compensation plan that allows you to grow to where you want to go and to continue to be somebody who will help other people by continuing to recruit people, put them underneath them, give them some incentive to grow their business and make everybody successful in the long run. The other thing we wanted to do is we've all heard over the years, we pay out 50%. Well, no, they didn't. They paid out in the low 30s. We pay between 47 and 50% every month of all the cash that comes in for products goes right back out to you guys every single month. And you can see it in your checks. We have people making money in our business today that never made money in network marketing before. Okay. And it's built so that the people coming into business can make money, can pay for their product, can pay for their car payment, maybe pay their mortgage. Okay. With working full time, not working full time for us, but them having their regular job. They can do that on a part-time basis. And then we have the people who want to call what I call middle management, which is like upper sapphire, ruby, low emerald, which, well, probably up to ruby. And they can make 50, 60, $70,000 a year with effort. It doesn't come without effort. The only thing that comes without effort is taxes and death. Everything takes effort, but the effort is a love of the business. If you don't have a love of the business, if you don't have a love of the products, and by the way, the business and products are entwined like that. You can't have one without the other. Then you're going to be successful. I'm probably right now, quote unquote, recruiting more than I ever did in my life because I can't stop talking about these products. All right. I was always an okay recruiter. I was never a great recruiter. As much as I could get on here and talk to you, I was not somebody who can go out and just sit in an airplane and talk to the guy next to me. That was not me. But now it's pretty funny. But what incredible products will do to somebody. The other part of the whole thing, I'm getting off track here, was the logistics. Well, we had the logistics because when we decided to build the product, we had built a small factory. There was a small lab factory, whatever you want to call it, that was building it. It was about 6,000 feet. So we could build the product because we build it ourselves, but totally vertical, guys. Okay, ladies, totally vertical. We build the product and we ship it. It comes in raw materials. We have quality control, checks everything. There's labs, and we do all the stuff you need to do. That caters that ability to do what I just talked about is pay you 50 cents because I'm not paying somebody to go make the product. I'm not paying somebody then to ship it to a warehouse who then charges you to keep it there and then charges you to ship it out again. All those costs are not there. And because those costs aren't there, we can give you more money. That's the way that thing works. Okay. It also gives us the ability to control our own futures because we control what is being made when it's being made. So, for example, right now, if you go into our factory, there is, if we look at every Friday, we look at the last 30 days, okay, and we make sure that we have 60 days worth of finished goods sitting on the shelf. Think about that. That means you guys can double our business and we wouldn't even feel it. All right. We've also spent a lot of time building equipment. We have brand new equipment coming in that'll allow us to probably quintuple our business that we have today on one shift without any problems. So that's the logistic in the middle part of it is get the product in, get it out quickly. Within 24 hours, it's out. Third thing is, what is our biggest asset? It's not Rick. It's not me. It's not the raw materials. It's you guys. Because it doesn't matter what Rick and I do. It doesn't matter what Doug does. It doesn't matter what the people in the factory or the quality control person does. What matters is, are you guys out there doing what you need to do? And so what do you need to do that? And that's where we spend our time. And that's where I spend my time trying to say, what are the products you need? Kind of Rick designing and what are the promotions you need? What are the prices you need? What are the activation packs you need? What if there is any, what changes do we need to make to the compensation plan to make it more lucrative for people? Like we added in the middle of the whole thing, we added the fact that your personal volume now goes into your third leg. We want you to make the ranks. We want you to rank up. We want you to make money. That's what this is about. You guys are happy. Everybody's happy. We have products that need to go out to the entire world. Right now we're in the US and Canada. Okay. But they need to go out to the entire world and we can't do that. We don't have enough people to do that, guys. We need 100,000 people. We've got 9,287 distributors as of this morning. Okay. We're not even close. Those of you who are in the business today who take this to heart. Now, and this is without being mercenary, this is a fact of life. If you do the right thing for people, you're going to be in better shape. Why not live a life that you want to live by going out and showing this to people? That's all you're doing is telling people about it. Show and tell. A friend of mine used to say, everything you need to know about this business and how to do it, you learned in kindergarten. Show and tell. Okay. So that's the story. That's how we got going. And that's where we are today. We're just going to keep getting better and better.
Oh, this is fantastic. One of my favorite talking points that you often use is working hard in a growth environment. And a lot of us have tasted that. And if you're involved in something like this, the dream, the big idea is to be involved when the company hits momentum. Oh, momentum is our very best friend. We love momentum. And I've tasted that. And once you have that, it just you got to have it. And to contrast that, if you've been there and just the thrill of it all, I think one of the most satisfying things is when I think, in fact, to really be happy, we need to be in the process of growth. If we're stuck, that can just really damage our psychic, our psychological health is to be stuck. And having tasted that with my former company, and then having, as you say, it always is the owners that mess things up. Our company was sold and lost its heart and direction, and all of a sudden just going back. And it's one of the most wonderful things is growing and helping people, and everybody is successful and miracles are happening, and you're making a difference. It's just the most wonderful thing. And then contrast that with being stuck. And whatever you do, it does it. And in a way, I saw it conditioning people were essentially learned helplessness. What they did or didn't do didn't matter. And I think a lot of jobs are that way, where there's no correlation between what's happening out there in the world and what you're doing. That's a hollow job. The best jobs are where you're doing something and magnificent things happen, and it can be multiplied by teaching other people. And so thank you for making a growth environment again. Oh my goodness. This just redefines all the stuff you're talking about. That vertical thing where the uniqueness of having a company where everything's under one roof, less moving parts. You can make the very best stuff and afford to send it out there. And then being brand new, and yet pretty much everything about us, all of our products essentially have really been proven in the marketplace. And so I just think, wow, it's new and it's old with the advantages of both. And oh my goodness, this is a good time to run. And then we've got something brand new. We got all these wonderful products, and I think the best place to be in is where you've got really affordable products. People can buy them spontaneously, and everything we have is less than $100 as an example. But it's consumable, and you use it, and you get great benefit. And as you're using it, you think, this is so awesome. I want to share it with other people, and then hook it up to auto ship, so it just happens automatic and huge incentives there, and a comp plan that just fits on one piece of paper. Everybody needs to print that, and you know right where you are at any time. No gotchas, just clear. All it is, find people and talk to them about this. All we have to do is look for customers, look for business builders, and teach other people to do the same thing. And then balance it in three legs. And that's the most stable thing there is three legs. And nobody knows about it. Oh my goodness. Every time you tell the story, everybody's heard of heavy metals, body burden, toxicity, but what do? And we have this just real simple, elegant, just put drops on your tongue and just wonderfully, all those problems can go away they're connected to that. And I just think, wow, timing's right. Market truly immeasurable, unsurpassed products, amazing leadership. And then on top of that, maybe you could talk a little bit about, let me see, the Complete Health Avini Bundle Plus, 20%.
Well, here's the deal. Again, the ultimate goal of our company is to help people. And look, there's a lot of awareness out there about health. When we were kids, there wasn't, first of all, there wasn't, or younger, there wasn't the availability of getting information out to people as there is today between cable TV and between the internet and everything else. People are much more aware, some with the wrong information, some with the right information. You know how that goes. And we want to get these products to people because we see the results. But you hear me talk all the time. I love the results. It's my emotional pay. Okay. I listen to everything. I'm almost on every testimonial call that I can get my ears on, because that just keeps filling my body up with, okay, we're doing the right thing. Okay. Because that's what you want to do. But really the right thing is to get this to people for preventative health care. The best news you're going to ever get is no news from your doctor. I mean, let's face it. You don't want to hear that you have some bad cell problem or that you have a syndrome of some kind because we didn't take the stuff that we could have taken in order not to get that in the first place. I'm saying it's guaranteed. There's nothing in life that's guaranteed, like I said, but there's a heck of a lot better chance. I know I'm in much better shape today because I've been on this product for 20 years. Okay. And I know, and you've heard some of the results. I'm not ashamed to tell you my heart results and everything else because, and it has to do with this, okay? It has to do with taking the products on an everyday basis. So when we came out with these two new products, we knew when Rick and I were walking around last October in the raw materials convention we went to, I always kid about it. It had like 4,000 booths. I walked enough for the rest of the year at that thing. But we're talking, and we went in there with the understanding, we talked about what do we want to make. And I said, we really need a good cardio product. So we went there for that. And while we were there, we saw some stuff about this whole mind and vision. And we're going like, man, I'll tell you what, think about what you see on TV today. You hear about people having heart attacks, dementia, and people having vision problems. Look at the commercials. Look at the commercials. If I try not to, I DVR everything, but every one of them is about a drug that has something to do with those three things. Whether even the weight loss has to do with that, is so you don't have a heart attack. Okay, it's all about that. So now we have these two products that have created a whole new awareness. I can tell you, our business is changing in that people now have a whole bunch of other things they can talk about besides detox. So sometimes now detox is going to bring them in, and we're going to teach them about the mind and vision and the cardio care. And sometimes the cardio care and the mind and vision is going to bring them in, so we can teach them about the detox, the cell defender. Doesn't matter which way it goes. It matters getting it in their hands. So now I said, okay, we got a lot of smart people out there who understand now that we need to be preventative healthcare, meaning our distributors and a lot of our retail customers. So how do I get it in their hands? Because I understand it's not cheap, and understand it's not crazy expensive because of our compensation plan. If that was the case, you wouldn't be able to buy plus hydration packets cheaper than you can buy the or the IV product that's out there in the market. We're actually cheaper than they are, not less expensive. I hate that word cheap. We're less expensive on a per bottle basis than what's on the shelf in the drugstores. Come on, guys. Take one of our products. Take that new the new Mind and Vision. Go out into your local CVS and add up what you would have to pay to get all those products in one. And you can't even find it all because we have stuff in there you can't find. All right. So now how do we get it to you? So that's when I said, let's put together a packet with all 5 products. Well, that got pretty expensive, didn't it? So we looked at our costs and we said, okay, we have a certain amount of money that we've allocated to marketing. Where can we spend that money the best? Well, to me, the best way to spend that money is to get people to use the product correctly and stay healthy. Best story you can tell. So we took some of that money and we put it in. You can get what we call the Complete Health Avini bundle for 15% less than you would get it if you bought them all individually, excuse me. So that would have been $300. So that brings it down to $255. But think about this, guys. Take it down and put it on your auto ship. Now it's down to a little over $200 for all 5 products to keep yourself totally healthy all month. Do we have stuff we spend $200 on that probably we can back off? Of course we can. It's all a matter of where we allocate our cash. And then when I got to the next one, we added nano silver. We realized, wait a minute, now it's really expensive. We got to put extra money in there. So now we were able to give you 20% off. So think about that. You're getting almost 40% off the price if you put it on your auto ship. So that to me makes it available to more people to be on the right products all the time. Can everybody afford it? No. But let me ask you a question. How much work do you have to do to make $200 on our comp plan? I'm not going to answer that question. Go look at it. Talk to your upline. If nothing else, sell product or help people use the product and make the money to get your own product so you stay healthy. That would be my number one deal. That's the first thing I always told people when they came into business. Let's get you enough money so you can take the products and be healthy. So that's the idea behind that. I hope that answered that question, Dave.
Oh, it's brilliant. And you try one thing and you think, oh, this is so good. And then now I think we've got this reputation that if it's an Avini product, it's good. And so when we have these new products, the cardio and the mind and vision, right off the bat, so many people just says, oh, this is Avini. It's got to be good. And then they try it. And what have we had? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And we've got some really wonderful miracles. Yeah, just amazing, amazing results. Oh my goodness. And of all the things I would miss most, it'd be my mind. I like that. Being able to see is good.
I find that it really helped my night vision already. I don't know about you, but I was finding that the glare of the cars coming to me was starting to get to me, and it's gone. To me, that's pretty cool. That's a big difference.
And I love the description that Rick talks about some of these companies that brag they've got now with lutein or something like that, and it's maybe one tenth of the minimum amount that actually has any significance metabolically, and so Rick calls it fairy dust. We really have amounts that make a difference. And
can I add to that, because it's very important what you just said? It's not only the amount, it's the quality of the product we take. So for example, where we buy that product from, and there's a logo on it because we buy it from the best maker in the business, Florigold. He had 5 levels of quality. All right, we buy the best level we can put in there. So when you see the stuff on the shelf in the stores that says lutein, that is not necessarily the same level, grade, whatever word you want to use, that you're going to see on those products. We will never, ever renege on giving you the best quality products. We will never change the product so we could a quality of an ingredient so that we can lower the price or make more money or whatever it is. We're happy with what we're doing. Okay. And we're never going to do it. That's the advantage of being vertical. Because if you send it to somebody, you really don't know what the heck they're putting into it.
That's a good point. Also, I think another aspect, I remember first getting to know Rick and on our new company, and just both of you, you just have shining eyes. You're happier than when you were being frustrated with somebody else driving the bus. But I remember Rick talking about now that he had complete control. Before, he would make something really wonderful, and then they'd take it to marketing, and the company would say, "Yeah, this is great, but we don't like the price point. What can you take out? What can you reduce?" And so he was always, there was a compromise. It's got to be really frustrating if you're not just a developer, but a true artist and somebody defacing your product.
Exactly. Exactly. There was a lot of that goes on. And again, that was one of the ways that owners ruin businesses. They ruin businesses by cheapening the product, by pricing the product out of the marketplace. They ruin businesses by taking the leadership and saying, okay, now you're making too much money, we're going to cut you back. Or they keep that money there and then they take it out of all the quote unquote little people that people like to talk about. There is no such thing as one of those kind of people. Everybody is important. The concrete basis of our business is based upon people wanting to use the products every day. If you want people to use the products every day, you have to have products that work every day and that people need. We do. You know how I can tell we do? 30 to 35% of our volume every month is on auto ships. The average in the industry is what, 10? Okay, that's because our products work. People aren't buying the products just to get to the level they need to be in order to get their compensation. A lot more people than that is buying it. Trust me. We have a lot more people buying products than ever make any money, like 3 times as many. Okay. So it means that the product works and the product is important to people. And that's the important part that I want to get across this morning is that we have a business that's based upon products. It is not one of those quote unquote pyramid stands. I hate that pyramid thing because you know what I tell people when they ask me, is this a pyramid scheme? I go, do you mean one of those things where there's a guy at the top that makes a lot of money and there's a bunch of people who make a whole bunch of money and then a lot of people who make none? And they go, yeah. I said, yeah, no, that's a corporation. Yeah, we're not one of those. So everything's a pyramid. Just so you know, what people get it confused with is a Ponzi scheme. That's what they're thinking about. Here's what a Ponzi scheme is. There's no product. They take money and pay other people from the money they take. We don't have that. We have a product and you get paid upon what you do. So when somebody says that to you, correct them. Everything is a pyramid scheme. Think about it. Family is a pyramid scheme. A business is a pyramid scheme. A sports team is a pyramid scheme, quote unquote. It's not a scheme. It's the way life goes. Ponzi scheme is a scheme. You see the guys like Bernie Madoff who go to jail because of it. All right. And there are guys in the network marketing industry. Look, we've seen it since we've got involved in it with companies. There was not about it right when we started. There was another company starting, and I'm not even going to give a whole lot of detail, but they were selling quote unquote parts of the business, and you're going to get this and you're going to get that, and they raised multi-millions of dollars. Never made, and the first product that came out melted and didn't work, and they never made any product. We came out and said, here's some product, you want to buy it. We came out and said, if you want to be a member of our business, here's what we'll do. We'll give you, you need to buy an activation pack, but we'll give you 30, 40, 50% more than you would have if you bought it retail, just to get involved in our business. And no, you never have to pay another penny to be involved in our business. You never have to spend another dollar. You can get paid for not spending any money. You could just do retail business and bring in new distributors, do nothing else but that and get a paycheck every week. Nobody does that. We're not about the money. The money comes because we do the right thing. It begins with the product.
I love that. My experience is if you're chasing the money, you almost certainly won't make any. You really, doing it right, it makes you become the kind of person that you ought to be anyway. And I love pyramids. And as you say, everything's a pyramid. If you have an organization, it's always shaped that way. And the way I like to think of it is there's good pyramids and bad ones. That's the way you define it. A good pyramid is your organization, your pyramid exists and it grows because you're doing good. You're providing service. That's what a business is supposed to do. A bad pyramid is you're building something and people are worse off. So as an example, a drug lord, he's got a big pyramid and he's making money because he's hurting a lot of people. And the bigger you get in that sort of a business, that means you're hurting more and more people. And that's what a bad pyramid is. Wherever you go, all the people that are touched are worse off. Avini is just a pure, clean, wonderful pyramid because everybody benefits that's touched with this. And wow. So let's grow.
Listen, it's funny because we all support pyramids all day long. Amazon, probably the biggest pyramid we all know nowadays. How many people here don't buy from Amazon? Nobody would raise their hand, right? The problem is, go talk to somebody who works in one of their shipping centers. They are not the greatest person to work for by any stretch of the imagination. So we can't do that. We take care of everybody. We take care of the people that work for us, and we have to take care of the people that are working with us. That's you guys. We're your partners. We're not your bosses. We're your partners. The only time we get involved in any kind of anything with a distributor is if they're doing something that's going to hurt other distributors or the company. And that's to protect you guys. If somebody goes out and makes statements that they can't make, we have to stop it so we protect you guys. If someone goes out and tries to advertise on eBay, we have to stop it because that protects you guys. But other than that, you guys are the people. You're it. All we can do is support you. We'll come out, we'll have meetings, we'll do whatever it takes. And speaking of meetings, let's not forget to talk about that. One other thing, let's talk, while we're talking product and packs, let me just make an announcement. Sometime in the very near future, not this weekend, we're going to be sending out new activation packs that include the new products in it. Okay, so you'll be seeing that. There will be some other changes, all for the positive. We're going to make it sweeter and better than it was before.
And in the meantime, if you recruit 2 people in a week, you get 50% more, which essentially a new person, all they have to do is get 2 people to do the same thing and they got all their money back. That is absolutely incredible. So now's the time to run and go all the way to the ticker tape on this month. But where do you where do you see the future? Where do you see us off? What's Avini going to be like in the future?
Well, look, when you come to our meetings today, it's going to be the smallest meetings you ever see. Let's face it. We already doubled the conference. The summit in Vegas this time was double what it was the last time. Still big enough for me to go around and say hi to everybody. But I've been involved in that other company where it ended up with 5,000 people coming to a meeting. So enjoy the time now and come in and see us. We're going to do the tour, the vision tour starting in June. I urge each of you to not only come yourselves if you can, really make the effort to come because it's like a mini summit. It will be. But think about the people in the area. Take advantage of it. Send people to the meeting to say, hey, go take a look at what I'm looking at, or what I'm involved in. Go hear from the scientist because he's going to be there talking about it. Go listen to MJ. So when we talk about mind, body, and soul, the whole mind, body, and soul, will be shown at those meetings. Where we're going in the future, from a product standpoint, I think we've got a good mix of products. There'll always be some extra things that go in, but it'll be more about packaging, better ideas for you. But from a sales standpoint, I would imagine by this time next year, we'll be double where we are today and hitting major momentum. So those people who spend the next 12 months trying to blow up their business will have the business blow up by itself after that. That's what I would anticipate.
Find one more new person. It's just the thrill. Every time you talk to somebody, it opens up possibly a whole new world of possibilities. So, wow. Okay, let's go do this. Neil, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking your time and sharing. And thanks for your vision and your trustworthiness.
I appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing everybody. That's what we do. If you have any problems, you need to get me. You could either get me if you know where I am, or just go to support. They'll get you to me. No big deal. We're here for everybody.
All right. Thanks a bunch, everybody. Love you.
Thank you for joining the Magnetic Leadership Podcast with Dave Johnson. Take charge of your health and detoxify today with Avini Premium Products.